and welcome to Series 2, Episode 3 of the UK Thrashers radio show, the home of Moshing the Roof On. Let's kick things off tonight with Thrashsquatch and Thrash Till Death. Okay, that was Thrashsquatch. They're in the studio later for an interview. Before then, this is our international act for this week. This is Death Is Coming by Berlin's Exa.
You better run! your clock. Human cell. Take a breath, the end is coming. How do you wish to betray him? For your fear, you won't die yet. What do you wish to become? Now you're like him. Death is coming. You better run.
That was Exa taking the German thrash scene by storm. Okay, next up, taking the planet by storm. This is Incursion, and this is Scourge.
Nothing's inside line.
Okay, next up is our interview with 2 times Mosh in the Roof on alumni. This is Thrashsquatch. Okay, welcome to this week in the virtual studio. All the way from the deepest, darkest woods, it's Thrashsquatch. Welcome to the show, guys.
Yeah. All right. How's it going?
Hey, thanks for having us, man.
Okay, do you want to do quick introductions, introduce yourselves, real names or on-stage personas, and the missing lunatics from the asylum?
Yeah, all right. I'm Bruce Lightning. I'm here. Who else?
and what do you do in the band, Bruce?
All right. Yeah, well, I play guitar a bit, sort of. Have a go at it anyway.
I'm Nigel Condor. I do vocals.
Carlos Fandango. I'm bassist of Thrashsquatch, and missing in action is Stanley Knife, and he's a guitarist. And Bone Crusher?
Clive.
Bone Crusher Clive, yeah, who are both on a date with each other tonight. Could not make it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So these alter egos that you guys have coined and can vaguely remember occasionally for the band, where did they all come from?
Okay, well, mine's quite an old one, actually. It's just from not being able to speak properly, I think. I was trying to say someone was fast as lightning or fast as Bruce Lee or something, and I came out with just like Bruce Lightning, and that was it. Everyone just laughed their heads off and started calling me Bruce Lightning. So, yeah, that's where that came from.
I genuinely don't know where Nigel Condor came from, other than I've just thought it sounded cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, everyone's entitled to their opinion, Tom. That's the main thing.
Go on, then.
I don't know. Mine's just Carlos because my name's Carl, and I'm not very intelligent or creative. And Fandango, Carlos Fandango is actually what my brother-in-law called me once.
That's a great name.
So that was it.
Is that not a porn star name? I'm sure there's a...
Well,
I've been known to.
I was going to say, when the royalties dry up on Thrashsquatch, then we all have to delve in to get extra cash. So
needs must.
So on that note, where for those that don't know, where are you guys based? Where's kind of home territory, and how long have you been together as a band?
We are all from Chesterfield, and we've literally in bands together since we were 13, 14 or something. We were in a band, mostly punk bands, and we were in a punk band called Elmo first, wasn't it? Everlasting Male Orgasm. That's what that stood for. And then we became...
Not the guy from Sesame Street, then.
Well, it started with that, and then we thought we'd be cool teenagers and give it an acronym
to go with it. Yeah,
exactly. And then we became Front Row Badger, and then some of the guys left and joined real bands. So, like, Bruce.
Hold on. I weren't in Elmo and Front Row Badger to start.
Because you're a knob.
I was just your biggest fan. I was just there at everything, at all your practices and all that. And eventually I started to learn guitar, and then Carl left Front Row Badger, and I sort of jumped in as bass, but never played a gig.
Yeah, we never actually played a gig, did we? I don't think with you in the lineup.
No. But then we went off and all the different bands. There was Clive, old Bone Crusher there. He's been in quite a good few, hasn't he? And Stanley was in like local legends. Actually, he was in Worm and Mibe.
Yeah, he played both of the two made the Oasis and Blur of the Chesterfield punk scene in the 90s. Blur and Mibe. It's Blur and Mibe. Mibe and Worm, and he ended up in both of them, didn't he? Which was.
But they were actually in a band. They were in a band together as well first, weren't they? Go on, why am I Underachiever? They were amazing. So,
and then you went on and you were in Embers Burnt, weren't you? With Sam.
That was cool. Yeah, Clive. Clive Doncaster again. He was there.
And then you pulled me out of retirement about 4 years ago. Said, come round and we want to make a band. So about 4 years ago.
I was in another band actually after.
Oh yeah, you were.
I was in Last Lives for a bit. I was doing some rock, some good old rock. It was all right. It was
a good band, Last Lives. Yeah.
Alex wrote some pretty cool songs. Good group of guys, but I left them to be, well, I think, because our band came about, because I had a birthday around my, before that, me and Andy were living together at the flat, and Tom came round one night, and we kind of just chucked Black Hole, the very first version, together.
That was 2009.
Yeah, so that was a long time ago.
Serious? Jeez.
We were very inebriated.
Yeah.
We decided to... It's on the first EP. There's a song called Black Hole.
Yeah.
It was when... I don't know if you're into science or not, but there's a place called the Large Hadron Collider.
Oh, Jesus.
Here we go.
They were trying to create a black hole. And we'd been dabbling a bit, and we were getting really deep about this black hole.
When you say dabbling, you mean in physics?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we got, and from there we decided to create. Well, we just off the cuff wrote a song called Black Hole, and that was in 2009. And then when was it? 2016. We decided to actually.
Well, it was we had a birthday party, didn't around my house, and Sam got quite frustrated or something, and he just kind of blurted out, "Why aren't we in a hardcore band together?" And then a few months later,
it's one of those things you blurt.
He did. He just did. You know what? Oh, sorry, that's not Sam. Clive again. He was on. Anyway, yeah. So he said that, and then a few weeks later, you guys were having a practice, and I turned up, and that was it.
I'm pretty sure I wasn't in that practice. I'm pretty sure that I was dragged in at the end because I hadn't touched my bass for possibly 20 years. And they were like, just come round, bring it. It'll be like old times. I'm like, are you for real? So I found it in my loft, went round, and
it was a magical moment. It was all until you turned up. It was nothing.
Yeah, it was like Paul McCartney going back to the Beatles, man.
I thought you were saying it was a magical moment until he turned up, and then you kind of slightly twisted that around a bit.
Oh yeah, that's probably right.
He did, didn't
he? It sounds like you've got a pretty good scene up around the Chesterfield area, although it seems like you were in all of the bands at some of the point, or you were with, what is the Chesterfield scene like? Is it kind of, is it pretty vibrant or was?
We had a club called the Green Room, which was the place for alternative people to go for years and years, and it was epic. It was one of them places where we heard about as kids, and we're just like, we started going, and it was just a beautiful place. But eventually, I don't know why or when, I can't remember now, but that closed down, and we had nothing like that for a long time.
It was a good 10 years, I think. There was it was barren in Chesterfield for music.
We had to, Sheffield's not too far away, so we go there, but yeah, it was a bit of a mission. But then old Phil showed up, didn't he?
Big Phil came to save the scene in Chesterfield.
He absolutely did.
Yeah.
We got a venue here now called the County Music Bar, it's called, or County Rock Bar, one of those. They go by both names, but he's single-handedly, he's revived the Chesterfield music scene completely. It was a dive. The pub was it's just a shell. But Phil's basically, he took over the place and he's put all his own money into it, completely turned it around, and he gets like bands from all over the country, all
over the world, European bands, everything.
Yeah, so it's getting quite good again. I mean, there's a lot of the bands that come here are from other other towns. They're not everyone's from Chesterfield, but it's getting a good scene again. It's
obviously COVID's kind of put a nail in it at the moment, but I'm sure he'll be back.
But we played our first gig. Our first, well, it wasn't our first gig, but the first gig there was it a Friday night or Saturday night? They wanted to make a rock night. And we played we were the first band on, and we couldn't believe they'd let us play. And we were stood next to the entrance door with our amps or whatever, and we played. And from there, he's built it up, and it's now got a stage. And I mean, we went to see, who did we saw Insight play there recently, or before COVID, with Max Cavalera's son.
I was going to say, that's like, Cavalera's boy, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's literally playing Chesterfield. And it was like, Jesus Christ, man, what is going on here? And it was like, it's like, it's crazy to think stuff like that happens in Chesterfield.
I suppose if we're talking about the scene, I mean, it wasn't completely and utterly dead. I'm just thinking about real time.
Yeah, real time. Yeah, I was.
That's like a pretty epic venue, actually. But it's a bit too big in a way. I think they get a lot more like cover bands and things like that there. But actually, while she sleeps, they're from around here, and I actually in Embers Burn played with them quite a lot when they were getting, back in the day. But they came back when they're, now they're absolutely freaking massive, and played at real time.
And we saw Funeral for a Friend there.
Oh, yeah.
A couple of years later, did a secret gig. It was like 200 people there, 250 people.
Yeah.
And that was fantastic. But again, I think that was before the county had reopened, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Just before it had all taken off. But it was like always clinging on, because I remember once we went there, I think Mybe were playing there or something like that. It opened and it was like a really new club that had it all done up, and everything had like big manga paintings on the wall and everything. It just looked mint. And we saw one gig. It was either Mybe or Worm, and it closed down the next day because they hadn't got the license properly, and they actually got raided that night and closed it down. It was like one gig, and that was like, that must have been 15 years ago, to be fair. But yeah, and then that might have not been real time, that one. It might have just been around that building, but and it just closed down.
But Neil, man, when we're allowed to go out again, you need to come down to County and have some beers with us.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Travel up the road, yeah. What about kind of other bands in the area then? Of kind of, you touched on a couple there, or do you go a little bit further afield? Where else have you guys played? Have you kind of braved Sheffield or Leeds, or a little bit further afield?
Oh, here we go. Now here's a story. Blooming, what they called a Ned Flanders band.
Oh, Oakley Dokley.
Oh wow, what a gig that were. Corporation, probably one of my favourite gigs I've ever played with them guys.
So yeah, we played Sheffield probably just as much as Chesterfield. Biggest gig we've done. I don't know if you've heard of them. There's a Simpsons themed metal band called Oakley Dokley, where they all dress as Ned Flanders. They're an American band. But as soon as we saw they were announced to play Corporation, we were just like, "This is our sort of gig."
we are made for supporting this.
So we just sent them a message, thinking nothing of it. They won't even reply. We got on support.
We were made support again, and it was on the main stage. I think it's got 3 stages. Corporation. We're on the main stage, and our friends Scython they were supporting Ross the Boss, who was playing on the second stage. And I remember Chris, is it Chris, the singer Scython? It is, and he walked in and he was like, we were like sound checking up main stage. He just looked at us like, Jesus. I think we'd played like 3 gigs then, and Scython, who were absolutely
incredible,
unreal, absolutely incredible. And he's like, looked at us and it was like, what are you on there? I'm like, we're playing the main stage, Chris. And he just rolled his eyes and went, oh my God. It's just I walked off. It was like, Jesus, man. It was insane. And it was Thrashers Week in Sheffield. So if you ever want to drop a Ned Flanders influenced metal band on a perfect time, and it is Thrashers Week. So it's basically full of really drunk students dancing to people dressed as Ned Flanders. It was near enough a sellout. I don't know if it was actually a sellout, but it was near enough a sellout. It's a decent sized room, and it was just going off on one. It was absolutely crazy. And it was like, wow, it was pretty special.
Hearing Sam, bloody hell, hearing Clive's drums on that stage was just It was just blowing my brain out. It was great.
We weren't even the first support act either, were we? We were second.
Yeah, we were main support, man. But they added
main support.
Yeah, we were on the poster. We were literally on the poster. It was like, what?
That's going in the EPK, isn't it? There's no way you know that. Whatever, for the next 30 years, that's going to be.
Definitely, and they added Bleaching Apocalypse to the bill.
Yeah, man.
And they open, and they're a kind of family-friendly black metal band who do songs about come on, Tom, help me out. What's the guy they sing about?
Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen.
Yeah, he's and they were a good set of lads, and they opened, and they were really good. And there was me in the back just going, Jesus, man. And I was proper freaking out. I was like, man, I don't even know how to tune my bass. I was proper freaked out. I was even went to their bassist. I was like, oh, does this sound in tune? It was like, bing, bing, bing. And he was like, I don't know. And I was like, oh, shit. Oh, man. I proper had a bit of a freak out, man. But we got on there. And
it was great. It was
a top gig, man. Yeah. But
one guy came up to me afterwards and was like, that was incredible. And I was like, all right, nice.
That's good, man. Incredible. That is a good word. I went in the pit afterwards. Yeah, I went in the pit afterwards for. I think it was for the Oakley Dokley boys, and I was just in the pit getting the crap kicked out of me as always because I'm short. Well, I'm pretty fat, so I'm pretty good at knocking them out of the way because we're all pretty young. And this one kid just looked at me and he was just like, oh, and he grabbed his girlfriend. Like, oh, and she was like, oh, now you play bass on Thrash. I was like, yeah, love. I live 12 miles down the road. Yeah, it's cool, man. Don't worry.
Yeah, you'll see me in the co-op on Friday.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, no, it was good. It was definitely. To be fair though, as far as gigs go, our first gig. Now, this might sound a bit of nonsense, but this is damn true. Our first gig was in the back of a lorry at a Harley Davidson thing down the road on a Saturday afternoon, and we followed a burlesque act. So there's me. I took my wife and my two kids, and there's pictures of my son, he would have been about 7 or 8 at the time, and he's just a photo of him I've got from the back of him, and all you can see is women not wearing very much, bending in all sorts of and he's just sort of like, whoa. So that was our first ever gig, was following a burlesque show on the back of to a load of people eating burgers, looking at Harley Davidsons. So that was our first gig.
That goes on your rider from now on. Every show you play, you must have a burlesque dancer.
Definitely, yeah. And there was a guy dressed up as Arnold Schwarzenegger, Terminator, as well. And so he was a Arnie impressionist, and we knew he was going to be there. So we tapped him up saying, "We do a song, Rise of the Robots. When we play it, can you just do something daft or something?" And yeah, he was literally, we were playing along and he just comes up with his video cam thing and his full on army gear, all his face half melted off, filled with metal, just dancing to Rise of the Robots and everything. That was pretty cool, man.
He actually came on for the wrong song. He came on for Am I Real?
Did he? What a dick.
He came on for the wrong song.
God, he's really impressionist, man. I didn't know that. I just remember him dancing, thinking this is really weird. So yeah. Another band we played a lot with is the Dislocator Boys from Barnsley.
Oh yeah, we went there, didn't we? Played that.
Yeah, we played there for their album release night when they did their second album, Plague of Man. Yeah. And we played there. And the support act were another lads we've played with before called Death of Man. And they're cheers, Aaron. Yeah, if you want to tell the punchline straight away, yeah, cheers for that, man. But yeah, no, he was playing, and they have a mascot who goes on, who's, I don't know, he sets stuff on fire a lot, and he was wearing all these robes like a monk, and he had put all this inflammable liquid thing on these bones, and he's just setting these bones on fire, and they're going up well, man. They are burning well, and as he does it, he leans forward. And I've got it on video, and it's literally, he leans forward, and he just, at the time, thinking, dude, you're wearing like clothes. And then, yeah, literally, he goes up on fire, and all I've got on this video is Nigel doing a bit of a fake jumping on to put him out and then backing up a little bit. It's like, whoa, shit, that guy's on fire. I think he'll be all right. And then, so you never want Nigel around in an emergency. But, they literally set himself on fire. And, some people jumped on stage and put him out. And to be fair to Death and Man, never missed a beat, man. Carried on playing. They didn't care that their mascot, they're is it Bez? Happy Mondays? It's Bez, isn't it? Yeah, they're Bez from Happy Mondays. Set himself on fire. They didn't care. Standard for them. And they're in the 50s now, man. They're just an old thrash band and they just didn't care. Seen it all before. It was like, Jesus Christ. You could and then they just had a severed pig head that they set that on fire, threw that around a lot, and there was just pig guts everywhere. And there was the guy who owns the venue was just this guy. He was just like a normal guy who owns the venue. And I was stood with him and he wasn't dancing. He wasn't smiling or anything. And I was stood there then going, by this time, everyone's trashed. Everyone's a state. The place it's just horrible. It stinks of pig guts, burning people. It's horrible. And I spoke to him after. I was like, why'd you put these gigs on, man? What did you get out of this? And he just went, I love it. I absolutely love it. And it's like, Jesus. Literally, he was like, he couldn't get a more standard man that he'd ever seen. It was just, and he does it all the time, puts gigs. What's the name of the venue, guy? I can't remember the name of the venue. But
it's not even a venue, it's a practice space.
Yeah, that's it, practice space.
So all the gigs are put on, it's all like bring your own beer. There's no bar.
Yeah, bring your own beer. Place is going to get trashed, and it's in the middle of a warehouse where they fix cars next door. So you're walking through all these cars that got no tyres on to get in and out. It's a great place.
No neighbours to piss off, and you can just
exactly
hose it down the next morning.
Yeah, although the guy did, I believe that when I spoke to Deaf Man afterwards, they were like, I apologise to the guy who owned it. He weren't very happy, but he was cool at the end. I was like, dude, you nearly set his place on fire. He did set someone on fire in his venue. I fully appreciate that he might have been a little bit mad, but he was crazy, man.
I think Dislocator were there till probably mid-afternoon the next day, clearly.
Scraping up pig guts.
Oh, it was so grim, man. It was so grim.
I'll make sure I ask Andy and Mai about that when I get them on the show in a couple of weeks' time.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
We've got to shout out Dissension as well, fellow Chesterfields Thrashers. I don't know if you've heard of them before, Dissension. If you haven't, check them out.
I have, yes. and in fact, they're on Moshing the Roof On, but don't tell anyone.
Spoiler alert.
Well, I think they'll be announced by the time this comes out on Friday, so we're all right.
Good. Yeah, you got to announce them now. Yeah, definitely.
So, going back to the start, where did the name come from?
Right. Well, this is an annoying
debatable
thing because we came up with. I think we must have came up with at least about 10,000 names between us on chat. We came up with that, so many names, so many good ones, and it was incredible. Now, for some reason, Thrashsquatch stood out, and we were like, "That's ace. Let's check if anybody else is doing it." Right. So we do this check. Oh yeah. There's a band there. They've been doing it. They've not done well. Somebody said, they've not done anything for a couple of years. So it's fair game, I suppose. Let's have it. We're like, right, yeah, fair dues. Yeah, we'll have that. That's mint.
When we looked, they'd been inactive for at least 5 years. We thought of the name ourselves.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did think of the name. Yeah.
It was one of the many. It was one of the many that we came up with. But then it's just as we then spent probably about a year recording our first EP, and then we went to release it and we put everything ready to go, and I was just like, let's just have another quick check of this other Thrashsquatch. And guess what's happened? Yeah, they've just released a brand new album or something like that. Like, right, so we're the second Thrashsquatch now, are we? That's a bit annoying. They do anything about it.
Different.
They do spell it different, yeah. And we did, and it sounds like absolute bollocks, but in general, I still think I put Thrashsquatch forward, although I don't
I think you might have done.
It's a bit debatable because I remember at the time, it was we were putting silly things, and someone must have put something along the lines of thrashing Sasquatch or something like that, and I suggested Thrashsquatch, because shortly afterwards, when everyone started going, yeah, I was like, that's a shit name. I hate that name. So I kind of, for ages, I felt really bad thinking,
that's my fucking shit idea.
Yeah. It's like, because the one thing that the lads are very good at, it's if you make a joke about something that is really shit and you think, oh, yeah, what about we all dress as like, oh, something stupid? And I'm like, yeah. And he, no. Oh, no, yeah. And then it like spreads through the band. And it's like, oh, my God. And I kind of felt a bit like that with Thrashsquatch, but I've taken my piece with it now and I do love it now.
Yeah.
Do you think it helps having something you can, you've got a bit of a kind of built-in mascot with it, and being a bit daft like you are, that kind of does that help? Does that go with the whole alter egos and being able to do crazy artwork and all the other sort of stuff?
Yeah, we're not a serious band. We're having fun.
Really?
It's a laugh.
Fuck, what is it?
Oh man,
no, it's a laugh, innit? Though, I mean, come on. And then, I agree. Yeah, he's just a funny character to have involved in the artwork and things like that. It's great.
And again, I don't even remember at the beginning if we even had the idea of having a mascot per se. It was just something that was like, we got the name. It was like, do you know what? That would be cool. And then we've forever been we've actually got a sixth band member called Simon, who we always wanted to do the biscuit DJing, all that jazz. And it got as far as that. And he's named on the first EP and he is appearing on the second EP in the Moon, but he isn't actually doesn't actually do anything. But we have always said, wouldn't it be great to get him dressed up like Eddie for Iron Maiden, like in the old Thrashsquatch, and then he comes out and dances while we play Thrashsquatch or something like that. But they're expensive Thrashsquatch suits, man, and we're poor.
I was wondering if you've been raiding the charity shops and getting your best sewing needles out, from stop sewing on patches and start sewing together a kind of a Thrashsquatch outfit.
One day, man.
We're hoping to sell enough copies of the new EP, isn't it? So we can get a Sasquatch outfit and get it out there.
That's what mums were for. My mum had a fit when I took around a new denim and said, she goes, I've been doing this for nearly 40 years. Can you fucking stop now? Mum, can you make me a Sasquatch outfit and put a denim jacket on it?
Definitely, man.
So new EP came out New Year's Day.
Yeah,
that was a good idea, because that was easy to sort out, go to the post office, everything on New Year's Day with COVID and everything. Yeah.
Okay, class bit. I was going to say, you've waited long enough. You could have picked your timing a little bit better. How's it been received? Has it gone down well?
It seems to have gone really, surprisingly well from what we've seen. Yeah, it's one of those. We've been sat on these new songs for at least a year. So it gets to the point where you can't even hear them anymore. You've heard them that much, you don't know if they're good or if they're crap. But it's done a lot, like sales wise. We've sold probably 3 times as much.
As in, you're going to say 3.
We've sold about 10.
Yeah, we nearly sold out the full 25 we had printed, man.
Big.
It's done well.
Yeah.
From what we,
as far as we're concerned, anyway.
People seem to like it, but I don't know. You tell us.
No, I love it. I kind of. It's nice to see a band. Everyone wants to be serious and make serious music, but it's nice when people just have a laugh and think about shit that's funny.
Yeah, we do have to be careful with. We do have to be careful with Nigel. He does like to try and take it in a more serious direction sometimes.
You say that, Bruce, but and this is true. We can say this because this is for Neil. But the other week, we've obviously not been practicing for a long time, but I think isolation has started to get to Nigel, because he literally says, we've got a new song in my head sorted. Said to Stanley, going to use your new guitar riff, everything all sorted. And it's about a chimney sweep. And we were like, what? This is the guy. I mean, most of our songs are absolute nonsense, but they're always about the guy who invented the nuclear bomb, scientists actually transplanting heads and stuff. Most of them are actually based on real scientific stuff. They're all stupid, but they are based on real, quite deep things occasionally. And and Nigel just went, "I'll do one about a chimney sweep," and we were like, "What?" And what we were planning to do, kind of, again, not allowed spoilers or anything like that, but that was, if we'd have got that recorded in time, we were hoping to get that for you for the Mosh in the Roof on Volume 2. Like, we were hoping to get that. It was in talk anyway. I don't want to say, like, oh, it was definitely going to happen, but it was like, well, it ain't going to make the EP because it's about a chimney sweep. And it ain't ready, but Neil's going to love that shit.
I know I can farm that off with, yeah.
It's about more than a chimney sweep.
Oh God! Here we go. It's
going to be a parable for the downtrodden worker. That's what it was going to be. He spends his whole life slaving away for the man, and then he ends up stuck in a chimney and he dies. And it's a story of him looking back on his life.
It's pretty brutal. Pretty brutal, to be fair.
I'm holding the space for Volume 3 for that.
Yeah, definitely. Right. That's definitely. That's a deal.
It's basically like Dick Van Dyke cross with 1984.
Dead Van Dyke.
Yeah.
So these songs, obviously, you rushed through a master for me for last year to give me a head transplant to open up Mosh in the Roof on Volume 1. Are these from that same recording session? Were they all done at kind of roughly the same time, but you had chance to sprinkle some glitter on them?
Well, so basically we kind of have a very long recording session. We don't go into a studio for like a week and bash them out. We kind of all turn up in Sam's kitchen, get laptop on, somebody will get a bit down, somebody will get a bit down. I do my guitars at home, Sam does his drums at home, but then like Nigel, Carlos and Stanley will come around Sam's kitchen, and when they can, they'll just put them down. And we get like, I don't know, it might take us a couple of months to get a song down because we're just like busy old fuckers who can't really...
All got kids and all old.
Yeah. So it takes a while for us to get anything done. So that song was done. We just basically waited till we get all the songs done, and then we kind of find someone to master them for us.
Well, it was a mastering this time that absolutely, because you say sparkle a bit of magic on it. We got one of was it you, Bruce? Are you good friends with him or Nigel? I guess we all are in a way, but we've got Jim
Andy
Pinder.
Andy was in
and last year Jim Pinder recorded the Wild Hearts album that got Total Guitar Album of the Year. And we went on one training one Thursday night when we were practicing, and we'd all I usually drive, but a lot of people had a few beverages and everything. It was like, let's message him, see if he'll master our album. It's like, he's not going to master our album.
I think it was more like, wouldn't it be
fuck off?
But fair play. We dropped him a message, and he has mastered. So he's gone from Wild Hearts, and I think he's worked on the Machine Head album as well, or certainly Studios. But
hold on, because he doesn't. They don't normally do the mastering. Mastering isn't their forte. They're generally just.
They engineer it and then
exactly, and then they send it off to somebody else. So when I asked him, he was a bit like, well, I don't usually do that, and I was just like, look mate, if you have a tinkle at it, it's going to be better than anything we can do.
Us five knobs playing in my kitchen and trying to make it sound better.
Yeah, we were just like, how do you master then? Let's have a look on Google. Right, okay. So he was like, I'll do it, and it totally changed it. Yeah.
And as a thank you, we got him a T-shirt with Macho King Randy Savage doing an elbow drop on Jesus, and what was meant to be a lava lamp light.
No, it was like a mushroom cloud
lamp, but it came and it was a unicorn lamp.
This is what you get when you order off Facebook. It's you always get what you want.
So
but we gave him loads of beer. Loads of beer.
I mean that's probably more than Wild Hearts paid him. Let's be honest.
I was going to say, who says there's no money in the music industry? That's fucking fucking game on. So you're talking about the songwriting process, and it's kind of round the kettle in his kitchen. Who writes most of it? Are you kind of
mostly me? I do most of the music, most of the lyrics
of the band.
Drums. No, I'm joking. No.
So well, what generally happens is me or Andy will write sort of guitars for a song, and then we'll turn up, and generally it's well received. Clive is probably the one who will say that doesn't sound like Thrashsquatch and shoot me down, and I'll write about 4 more songs before he lets me have one. But yeah, so we usually write the guitars, bring them in, and then Sam just does his thing. And he's amazing. I love Sam, a great drummer. Carl, we teach Carl what to do, and Carl generally learns it somewhere along
just
the
play
line.
those open E's, lots of them.
Keep bashing that, and then Nigel will just come up with some crazy beautiful lyrics, and that's
are the lyrics all you, Nige?
Yeah,
usually, yeah.
I think once or twice we might have interjected and said,
we've got the odd phrase and stuff that people have suggested and tweaked it, but generally the concepts. But no, to be fair though, there's a few of them. I come up with an idea, but then like Head Transplant, we've not really. The only thing we had with Head Transplant at the time we wrote it was the title Head Transplant, because I'd seen about this crazy scientist doctor guy that was trying to perform a head transplant on a human. So we went in with that. We said, what can we do a song about? I looked on my list, said head transplant. And from there, that head transplant was one of the songs we actually did all do together.
Yeah, that was.
No, that's wrong, because I'm going to put in head transplant here. I wasn't at practice because I very rarely turn up, which is standard. And it was a Thursday night, and it was very late, and clearly the lads weren't in the best of states on this Thursday night. The head transplant was dreadful.
You're not painting a very good picture of us.
Well, there's nothing, man, because I got this message on the chat, and it just said, play this. This is the best thing I've played. And I pressed play, and it was just 3 very inebriated or 4 very inebriated people going, hey, transplant, and I was like, what the hell is this, man?
You're like genius.
What is this? And that was pretty much what you got, Neil, for the first the first Russian. But yeah, no, it's definitely one that we played it. Like, honestly, when we first heard it, I was like, I know this is touching on something I'm not allowed to say, Nige, I'm sorry, but yeah, I was like, what the hell? Like, no way. And then we actually played it live, and I can't remember the gig, but a friend of mine at work came to see us and brought a fella, and afterwards they were like, next day she came to work and she went, you played a song really short and about like taking someone's head off and putting it on, and then there was one bit where it just stopped and your singers went, shit, it was amazing. I was like, yeah, man, it is amazing. I think a fellow was actually a musician or something, or very talented on the guitar or whatever. So I'd already warned him about coming to see us, and even he went home and he said to her, that head transplant song, wow, that was something else. So yeah, it was definitely a grower on me. But yeah. It's just a staple now.
The amount of comments I've had, from people who bought the CD, some of which bought it under false pretenses, thinking they were helping charity, when really, they were just out helping 26 fucking lunatics share their music around the world. And they were like, that fucking first song. You knew what you were going to get for that. A minute of insanity, and it's like, yep, that's why it was the first track on. It was, it was kind of it did its job and put everyone in his place to start the album.
That's a great album. Some good songs on there.
Yeah, really good, man. Some really good bands on that. Mosh in the Roof, unbelievable.
Right, I'm going to ask you a question now, and I know that Carlos is going to do. In fact, I'm going to change my equipment.
You got one
to ask this question specifically.
Jesus, man. Jesus.
So, how did you get hold of one of them? They were for sale.
Whoa.
It was one of the. It was one of
for those visually.
Well, the whole idea. There was the whole idea.
You gave away your rights. You said I'm not allowed to say X, Y, and Z on this podcast. And I said that's fine, but I'm telling the Thrashsquatch hat story. And you were like, all right then. So now it's my moment. So be quiet. So basically. The Thrashsquatch hats actually ended the band. I quit the band off the back of that, and I don't think I was alone. I'm pretty sure other people also wanted to quit. And basically what happened was old Nigel went AWOL as always and ordered some Thrashsquatch caps through Pimp My Band, who our friends Donna and Fee knocked them up, beautiful caps. And he messaged us all going, oh my God, I've ordered them, look, pictures of them. And I was like, all right, sound. So me being me, again, I'm no longer allowed to use the band's Facebook either. I'm banned from that. I get banned a lot from this book band, but basically I shared it all over Facebook. Check out these new caps, trucker caps, amazing. Instantly inundated. My hairdresser wanted one, his assistant wanted one. I had 2 or 3 people at work messaging me straight away. I want those caps. I want one. All the Dislocator lads wanted one. They were like hot property. So I'm like, oh boys, I've sold loads of these caps. Yeah. Instantly, Tom comes back, or Nigel, sorry, comes back. No, they're not for sale. I was like, what? It's like, no, we're not selling them. I'm like, what? No, I've sold. No, you don't understand. I've sold, I need at least 5. How many you ordered? 14. Oh, sweet. Well, I've sold 5 more. I don't have to worry about it. I've sold them. Not for sale, man. No. I'm like, no, seriously. No. And he's like, no, we're only going to sell them to the elite. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah. I know it sounds crazy, but only the elitists are allowed to purchase these.
That does sound like Nigel.
And I was like, what? So I literally had to message back all these people who replied to Facebook and said, I'm sorry, we've sold out. So literally, and I had my haircut the next week, and my hairdresser's going, oh, when you get some of them caps, and I'm like, oh, I don't know, man. I don't know. And literally, not only were we not sold out, we hadn't sold any. It's just that he didn't want to sell them because he wanted to do a live gig and put them out on the merch stand to show how cool they were. And it was like, dude, but we can sell them. We can make some money. No, man, I've got to sell them to the elite. People have got to come to the gigs. It's basically Tom or Nigel is a Tory. And it was basically a Tory thing to do. He wanted his primo mates to get these hats. It was a bit like Euronymous and the skull necklaces from Dead, and it was like that, only in the form of Thrashsquatch caps. And he knows it's true. I could tell he's rolling his eyes. He knows it's true. And then basically, so I had to tell all these people that I'd sold this cap to that they weren't allowed to buy it because they weren't elite enough. I didn't say that. I just said we sold out. And after all this shit, and we were arguing all night about it, I got well upset about it. Old Bella and Nigel messed up the order, and the next day, all these caps come to my fucking house. I'm like, yes! So I had this huge pile of caps that I'm not allowed to, and I'm telling you, man, it was so close to getting burnt. Oh, they nearly all went on the fire in the back garden, man. It would have been great. But yeah, so yeah, I quit the band, and and that was it. All because I felt it was so bad that we weren't able to sell said caps. And how many have we still got left, Nige? Are these sold out caps not allowed to sell?
Well, we've not played a gig since we've...
So we have still got some. So they're all over the shop saying sold out, yeah. But in effect, we got a pile of these fucking caps that we can't sell.
There's only 2. There's only 2 gone. That's one on his head.
Yeah, literally. The only 2 we've got is one on your head and one on Nigel's.
I've never been elite before. I'm fucking chuffed to bits with that. Brilliant.
Yeah, man. It's literally definitely they are prime material.
Do you want to write a reply on this, Nigel?
That's the Hollywood version.
I think we should move on.
No way, man. That's so true. Oh, man.
In reality, it was a pre-order only thing. So we took money for the people that wanted to buy it because we didn't have the money to put our own money into it. So we took the money from the people that wanted it. They put the orders in. So we only got enough for the people that ordered the caps. But then it turned out we still had 2 left at the end.
Bollocks. Absolute bollocks.
To sell it on the merch.
I've created my first on-air fucking band split again.
Since they brought it up.
I couldn't not bring it up because I'd been teased with this story so many times over the last kind of 6 months. It had to be discussed. Right, back onto non-band fighting. Your EP cover. Loads of people have commented on how fucking awesome it is. That
actually got the band to split up as well. So,
oh my god, let's go! Where did that come from?
Oh dear.
The concept for the EP, very like the first one. The first EP is an amalgamation of all the different songs, like in one image.
Yeah.
So we went for the same one. We had a bit of debate about what artist to use. Eventually, Bruce found this amazing artist called Seeming Watcher from, is it the Ukraine?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So Seeming Watcher is from the Ukraine. Dirt cheap, but for the money that we paid is just well, you've seen the result. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So we basically gave them the same concept. We want all of these different themes put together in one image. It came back. And obviously, it was amazing. It was better than what we were expecting it to be.
It weren't fully complete at that point.
It wasn't fully completed, but we could see the way it was going to go. That it was going to be brilliant. Except it had one small issue with two unnamed members of the band.
You,
Bruce, because it had two. What we perceive.
He'd gone for the old-fashioned King Kong style. Here he is. He's got a woman sort of thing, scantily dressed, But she was. But he had two. He had two women, scantily dressed, defenseless women, and we were a bit like, hold on, shall we?
We were concerned. It looked a little bit rapey. So
a little bit what?
A bit rapey. It caused a bit of debate. Me and Bruce both thought it was a bit not quite. We
with the times,
fans. We don't want to upset anyone. But then there was two other members of the band that were really the opposite end of the spectrum. Like, no, don't be stupid. It's just
Carlos.
No, actually, I for once, you wouldn't normally say me, and I would respect that, and I'd say that was right. But even I looked, and I was a bit like, because it didn't have any humour to it. It was just two women about to get messed up by a big Sasquatch thing, and it was like, and they weren't scantily clad. Although Bruce says they were scantily clad, there was no boobs on show, so I wasn't massively happy, and they were wearing leotards. So I did say I want to see some boob. Yeah, I wasn't too fussed about the whole you need to be changed. I totally buy that, but I also wanted some boob as well.
After a lot of debate, the only way we could resolve this conflict within the band without it being sexist, we decided that the only logical way it could go, we had to please female and male fans at the same time. So we decided to give a bit to one side. We allowed a bit of boob.
Yeah.
But then to try and kind of level any criticism of sexism, we decided to empower the female by having her leg had been torn off by Thrashquatch. So we decided that the only way, because she was being humiliated, the only way that we could resolve that issue was for the male to also be humiliated as well. So that's why we decided for the leg to be up the man's.
Stuck up his ass.
Well, that's why I got turned into a man in the first place, because that was originally a woman as well. It was two women, basically. Yeah. And I said, again, it got we were really arguing about it pretty nastily, weren't we? Yeah. And I even sent it to my cousin's quite a big feminist. I sent it saying, so what do you think of this? I mean, she knows that I don't give a shit about stuff like that, but in a way. And I said it, and she was like, well, it's not really. She says, well, it's not very empowering, but I guess there's a story to it. And he was like, not really. It's just a Ukrainian guy just thought, we'll just kill these two women or whatever. And he was like, yeah. It was brilliant, but it lacked any of the humor that's what killed it. I think the lack of, because if you look at the picture now, it's much more extreme now. It didn't have the leg ripped off. It didn't have this torn clothing. It's a lot. It didn't have the leg up the ass. It's a lot more brutal now. So in effect, it's gone even more extreme. And by doing so, it isn't as like, oh, this is just a bit.
Isn't as cringy.
Yeah.
No, and there's little Easter eggs all over it. You kind of, you glance at it the first time, that's a fucking cool picture, and then you spend a bit of time looking at it, and you don't realise that. It took me a couple of glances to realise that the leg's stuck up the arse and things like it's like, well, hold on a minute, where's it? That's not meant to be there.
The thing I love about it is it's about 7 different cover images all in one. It's really good.
Because you got like the kind of the skeleton army down the bottom, and it's all blended in. It's really cool. So you got that completely digitally? Is that going to end up on a shirt or a patch or a?
Well, yeah. I mean,
without breaking the band.
Oh yeah. I mean, every discussion we have nearly ends up splitting the band. We just can't talk about anything. It's unbelievable, but. Because we've known each other so long, we always get through it in the end. But yeah, T-shirts have definitely been talked about and definitely nearly caused another split. But yeah, they will be out. Absolutely. Such a good piece of art.
We just need a bit of money first from CDs before we can get them printed. But.
Yeah, the problem is the sheer number of colours in there as well, isn't it? Like we've got a T-shirt that's pretty sweet with some artwork on it, but it's black and white, and it's a lot. I know. It's the Pimp My Ride guys who give us a good price, and the Pimp My Band guys who give us a good price, and stuff like that. So it's just
put me in for one of them, unless they're for the elite, and then I might not be allowed.
Yeah, we'll have to discuss that with Nigel. We'll get all T and C's around the actual legal ownership of the T-shirts before we release, just to make sure you're allowed one.
Problem with me, I'm a nerd, and I like limited edition stuff that says it's rare on it. So anything like that, I'm just like, yeah, that's cool.
The problem with you is you're a bellend.
You tell we've been friends for a while here.
When people are that good friends, you can get away with that sort of shit.
We've all known each other since, I've known me and Clive, we're cousins, so we've known each other forever, and then we've known the rest of them since we were all about. Well, you two have known each other since you were 4 or 5
infants, yeah.
And we both moved here when we were about 7 or 8, me and Clive. So we've known each other forever.
Yeah, so that's like what are we now? 23, 24? So that's.
Stanley was probably the latest comer to our sort of group, weren't he? I suppose.
Yeah, and that's why we don't like him as much either. So. That's why we didn't invite him on this call, and
he's going to love that.
He's genuinely. He's genuinely going to be like, "We're only joking. Love you, Stanley."
Yeah, he loves you really, Stan. Do you want to pimp yourselves out? Where can people who haven't already picked up the EP from? Have you still got the first one left as well? You still got some copies under the bed somewhere?
Yeah, we've got a few of those. I don't know, not a lot. We've got some.
Tom's reserved some for the elite.
He's making them sound rare now.
Thrashsquatch.bandcamp.com. You can get all the merch from there. But yeah, we were actually quite low on the new EP. We're lower on the new EP than the first one at the minute. We're going to have to get that repressed soon. I think we've got about, how many? 6 or 7?
Yeah, it's less than 10 left, definitely.
We'll get that done because it's selling. The first EP, I don't know if we will get that done or not again.
We probably will. We'll probably get it reprinted.
Stuff. We'll not run out.
Yeah, fucking hell. Less elite, I guess, if we get more done in it. That's what it is. But yeah, we got to get them reprinted, man.
But yeah, thrashsquatch.bandcamp.com.
And what about everyone else? What about your social media stuff?
Facebook.
I can't even remember the address now. Facebook.com/Thrashsquatch band, I think. Basically, just type Thrashsquatch in. It's Thrash S Squatch.
Yeah. If you miss the S, that's when you get the guys from California or wherever they are.
I meant to ask you, so is that the difference? They're Thrashsquatch rather than Thrashsquatch?
Yeah.
They are Thrashsquatch, whereas
they are 100% definitely worth a listen as well, though, because they're fucking.
They're the pure crossover, just blistering fast thrash, basically.
Yeah, man.
Have you had any interaction with them? Have they ever come to you with what the fuck are you doing with my name? You fucking. No.
Bruce once said, this is true. He once put on the chat, it was like, shall we message him and like introduce ourselves and stuff like that? And I said, it's like being in a lion cage with a brown lion. Do you just stay to the side or do you stick your cock in its mouth and see if it sucks?
Yeah,
like, what could possibly go right about it? You know what I mean? Hey guys, we got the same band as you. We started a bit later. You bet you love us.
Well, I was thinking it might be like, why don't you just come over to America and we'll go on tour together, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. What are they gonna sue us for all our money? Because, like, I don't know, man. I think we probably, every time we release a CD, we release it a lot. So
I was going to say, you'll have to sell those last two hats to...
Yeah. The only thing they ever made money were Nigel's hats, and that were for him.
We've never made a penny in our whole span as a band, and I don't think we ever will, but that's...
We actually got, no, that's not true. We got paid 50 quid for that burlesque dance gig.
Yeah.
We got 50 quid.
That's the amount of money that we've put into the band from our...
And your boy's still being paid for therapy for seeing that. So.
Yes, yeah. He's disappointed now when he sees a woman walking down the street and she doesn't start dancing in her underwear.
Hey, look, we raised 1,800 quid together, so you've made more money than you'll ever see going into your own pockets. I can tell you.
We might be needing that soon and all. You know, with homeless and everything.
I'll get
to the right place.
That number for when you need to get some of it back again. Yeah. Finally, have you got any shout outs, thanks, abuse, or anything else you want to share with the world, or at least the people that listen to this on a regular basis?
To the bands we regularly play with, Scython, Dissension, Dislocator, they're the thrash bands we play with. Also, Impusa, Burn Down the District, two other bands from around here, not quite thrash, but definitely metal. And yeah, that's me. And my wife.
Putting up with me.
My kids. God. Joking.
It's not his fault.
Yeah, carry on.
Wow. No, just like Nigel said, all the bands we've played with and everything.
Yeah.
There's been so many of them that ridiculous that we've played with them, and they're like, don't just laugh at us and stuff. So yeah, it's been cool. And to be fair, it's just got to be Big Phil for the county, because I know
I'm going to say that. Yeah,
he's going through a lot of problems at the moment, bless him, because the way things are and how the government, like Tom's lot, aren't helping at all with the old.
I'm really not a Tory.
Yeah, he needs a few hats to sell, and then he'll be able to fund his future. But yeah, no, he's having a bad time of it, bless him. And yeah, when it's all sorted, then we need to get more gigs on and get down there supporting him, and I'm sure we will be, because he gets amazing gigs on, and yeah, he's doing great with the place.
Yeah, I'd just say thanks to you as well, Neil. Cheers, man.
Yeah, obviously,
There's a lot of support, and it's great.
Yeah,
you're welcome, guys.
What you're doing at the minute, it's top notch.
On that note, I will let you get back to your real lives and your real names, maybe. Or maybe the missus will be happy that someone else has come home.
I don't even know what's real anymore, Neil. I don't know what's real, what's not real.
Is that because you've been reading the Conservative Manifesto again?
Yeah. Everything blends into another. Well, I'm waffling. I've had too much to drink. Yeah.
Nigel has not been drinking for a while, bless him. And tonight was the first time he's had a drink for a long time. So we knew it was going to be a car crash. And so, yeah, he's doing his best, bless him.
Boys, thanks for joining us. Thanks for all your support on our stupid ideas of raising money. And I will hopefully see you at a gig when all this fucking pandemic bullshit is out of the way.
Nice. Cheers.
Yeah, definitely do. Cheers, Neil.
Taken from their brand new EP, Return of the Living Shred, this is Thrashsquatch and Hostile Force. Okay, next up, with some Swedish-inspired terror, all the way from Nottingham, this is Mordhau and Pig Society.
The smell of blood and burning flesh.
That was Mordhau from Nottingham with some fucking heavy old school death metal vibes. Okay, last track of the show. This is Ruthless Rampage by Redeye Revival. Okay, that was Redeye Revival from Leeds. Right, as you all know, Mosh in the Roof on Volume 2 is now live. 28 bands, only £10 for a double CD, so please get along to our Bandcamp, help us support Shelter Charity as we loudly combat homelessness. Thanks for listening, see you next time.